Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Space 2. So as you can see here, our approval position has degraded somewhat. The population from saying did reach Dill, and immediately Dill is tremendously unhappy because this barren system, this barren planet is it's a miserable place for a tree to try to live. Look at that, -8 approval per population point on this planet. So we blew up the approval here, and it's done enough damage to our overall approval to take us out of devoted. So we got to do something about this. There are a couple of ways that we could handle this. Obviously, we are still running this law that gives us -20 approval on the system. If we cancel this, we're immediately back to content devoted, and that's probably the best way to handle it. But remember that we do have the option of just making peace with people to gain extra approval. And because we have this option, I'm thinking that maybe I've been too quick to dismiss the academy positions. Maybe it's worthwhile for us to get, which one is it? Here, the Master of Dust, to make grants to other empires to try to convince them into joining up with us nice and early so that we can be taking advantage of that approval bonus from very early on in the game. So I think If we suspect that this is about 1%, and that's 11%, we're suspecting that the Hisho have put like 1100-ish dust into the academy, we have some resources that we could sell. Let's see if this early access to the marketplace that we went out of our way to get is going to give us the ability to wow. Yes, it is in fact going to give us the ability to do whatever the hell we want. That's a lot of money. Alright, I think that was a pretty safe move. We do want to upgrade our troops. It's probably, we can't quite buy our way. It was 20 Hyperium that we needed, right? We can't quite buy our way to it. Yeah. What's our mining rate on that? 4 per turn? I guess we could just wait until next turn and then buy the 3 we need then, and then do our troop attack. That's probably a good idea. So let's throw some cash to the academy. One thing I am kind of curious about is whether the AI are going to respond to me buying my way ahead of them. So we're going to throw in, let's say, 1,400 more dust. This should give us a healthy lead. Doesn't update in real time, apparently. And then we want to put the role that we want most to the left, right? Yeah, most desirable left to least desirable right. So I really want Master of Dust. If we can't get Master of Dust, I think Vault Keeper is of very, very little value to us. Librarian is also probably of very little value, but at least it's more interesting. And then, I guess the Spear of Isiander is maybe, it's probably in the right position, actually, because if we get control of the Academy Master, the Attack Master Fleet, what we'll probably use it for, honestly, is just scouting and blowing up pirates, and that's still valuable. It would be good to know where stuff is. So yeah, let's leave it like that. In a game theory sense, it would probably be best to just hoard resources until the final turn before the Academy request ends, and then cash in all at once to minimize the amount of time that the other players have to respond to our buy-in. But I'm intentionally not doing it that way because I'm curious how much the AI responds to a buy-in. We're going to surge ahead here, and I want to see if they then try to top us, or if they're already contributing everything they feel they can afford to contribute. And then I do think we still want to cut this law. It's going to cut in half our dust per turn, but it turns out selling resources is a great way to generate dust. And then that's got us on 37 and 100. We could try to make peace with the Vaulters or the Riftborn right now, but doing so is not going to push us up into another level of happiness, so I think we're just not going to bother. I think we're in a good position now. And then we should definitely buy out Xeno-Industrial Infrastructure here, as long as we're rolling in cash. And what do we want to be building next? Obviously, the magnetic shield generators are a little bit better here than they were in the home system. No, that's not what I meant to do. So that's three science per population point. We're 5 turns off of having 5. So public-private partnerships is still more raw science, just because 2 planets is a lot of science output. We should probably get the Cerebral Reality completed first, just because it's very low cost and has good, strong effect. And then I think maybe it is just this, or maybe we go straight into supermarkets, because this system is always going to have approval problems. The Arctic worlds also have an approval malice, and the cold gas world also has a large one, where none of our people want to live on any of this stuff. Yeah, let's maybe make the supermarket a priority after that. Not such a priority that I'm going to spend a ton of dust on it, though. Alright. So the vine ships are doing what the vine ships got to do. You are just waiting for probes, right? Okay. Let's see where it goes from here. Very near to having commercial frameworks. We're going to be able to construct a trading company super early in the game, and unfortunately, it's just going to be a very, very short trade route between two very poor systems. But it's important to get one, like, it's a, maybe important's too strong, but it's a good idea to get one going nice and early. Alright, so we need to purchase, I'm getting contacted by other players, we'll get to that stuff. I want to purchase 3 of these, then go to this window and do that and that, make our troops real strong. And then we're going to hit these pirates. What does everybody want?
To anger us.
Okay, they're threatening us.
Enjoy proposals
I refuse to give you 1,100 of my dust. He's going to call us up again and tell me what a bad idea that was. We've had some Heralds up here on Dill. That is fine. It's gonna drag the approval of the system down even further. These guys actually thrive on sterile worlds. I'm gonna move 1 point of population over to Dill 1 just to get our approval back in some kind of reasonable spot here. And we completed some quests. Oh, that's true. I did, in fact, end up with more than 1,069 dust. And then this has finished, so now the Behemoth technologies are available. Which is a thing that we should probably think about a lot earlier this game than we thought about it last game, especially like an economic behemoth can be a pretty significant boon to a slowly developing weak system. And hey, the political survey looks pretty much like I thought it would. I doubt we're going to see any big surprises on that one. Alright, let's hit it. We should be able to do this. We should be able to do this very, very, I don't know what the word I wanted there was. We should be able to do a real good job here, is what I'm trying to express. So I think we're just going to go in via preemptive bombing. We don't really have the manpower to take advantage of Blitz, and although our individual points of manpower are much more valuable than theirs, I think we can use some preemptive bombing to just do a ton of damage to them. This is most effective against enemies who are on infantry-heavy compositions, because obviously you want the bombing, the pre-battle bombing phase to eliminate as many enemy guns as possible. We should do a lot of damage here without taking a lot of damage ourselves. Yeah, so we burned out more than half of their force while only losing a little bit under 100 manpower of our own. We'll have this wrapped up in like 2 turns. Unfortunately, the vine ships have nothing to do until then. You are probably just hanging out for the turn. We find something else. Ooh, hey, we do see the edge of an influence bubble, and it looks like that's the color that's being used for the minor factions in this game. So we should probably get back up to Duyel and send a probe out. Do I want to do that with this ship, or do I want to have faith that these will see something? I think I'm going to stick over here for the moment, but maybe we should have another scout. You know, there's other stuff to be doing. Well, what I probably should have done with the vine ships is just have them pull off and vine up the solar nebula over here. Well, I mean, we would have been stuck on that for a long time. It would have meant not taking Zeturbia for probably like an extra 10 turns. I don't know. This is probably right. We just need more systems, man. Also, it'll be good to actually have a source of blue cap income, because obviously... Oh, I need to look at the academy as well. Yeah, it'll be good to have a source of blue cap income, obviously. Do we even want to bother with the bombing again, or do I just want to throw all of my dudes in here? We don't want to slow down the damage. I think I'll do preemptive bombing again. We're probably gonna... Oh, I was gonna say we're probably gonna almost wipe them out here, and then next time we just blitz for the win. But yeah, that was pretty easy, and I actually like a bunch of Hyperium and Antimatter. And then there is a pirate fleet as well. Please go away. Our ships are bullet ships, so yeah, we want to play up close. Okay, hostile trace detected. Isho are mad at me, and they can just stay mad forever. I think that's going to be their lot in this game. And the commercial frameworks are completed. I went ahead and put neural robotics in the queue because we have a source of adamantium in our home system, and it seems like we should gather it. Actually, are we on the planet that has the adamantium? Yes, we are. Okay. I'm going to say, because if not, this is a worse idea. So we'll probably not bother to build the trade company headquarters right away. How expensive is it? Ooh, 10k. 10k is probably a little more than we can afford to rush. So I guess I didn't need to... I could have reversed the order of these, and it would have been fine. That's a little bit of an inefficiency there. I mean, we could maybe generate 10k. We do have a lot of resources. We're not going to make it to 10k. But we probably will be able to buy out a significant portion of that. Not that we necessarily need to. Anyway, let's go check out the academy thing. Okay, so I think from the values here, I guess the percentage values would have reapportioned, right? We wouldn't have gone to 15% because we're stealing percent from everybody else to climb. But I think these values represent that the AI increased their contributions a little bit after we put in our big one. Probably it is not the case that that's because of my big contribution. Probably they've just been slowly climbing the whole time. So it seems like the AI maybe does not change its contributions based on yours, or at least this suggests that. We'll check in again in 2 turns and see if we need to up ours. But yeah, let's play around with this system a little bit, right? Let's find out what it looks like when you get a roll. So that hostile trace is gone now. Our hacking operation, at least I hope so, because the thing that was tracing us is gone. So hopefully our hacking operation will just continue on to Nair. How much does it cost to buy out a vine ship? Okay, they're not cheap. Thinking like we have a lot of vining to do in the very near future, and maybe it'd be a good idea to get the hell on that. I think we need to sell resources a lot. So we should probably have the needles move forward, right? There's no reason for them to hang out over here. Well, the fleet's not at full manpower. Oh no, okay, it is. Remarkably. Did we only lose manpower from the... Yep, it is in fact the case that we only lost the manpower that came from the... Oh, hey there, guy who's trying to settle on Zeturbia. That's not okay. You can't do that. I think he actually is going to settle on Zeturbia. That's a problem for us. Ooh, this is interesting. I think at this point, a free technology is pretty valuable. And there's a lot of really, really cool stuff it could end up being. We don't have access to that many techs that are not meaningful to us in some way. The other options are a small increase in our dust and influence, which is not bad, but it's also not amazing. A flat 10% science boost on the Empire is probably more science. That would be a 10% boost for 10 turns, obviously, gets us about a turn worth of science. The cost of technologies... So if we got a tier 1 or 2 tech, we would effectively have gotten less science out of the random tech than we get from the science boost. But if it gets us something on tier 3, which it very well could, because we have 2... actually, we have 3 quadrants of the tree that are up to tier 3. That's a lot of science that we save by going random. It's unpredictable, but I think I want to take just the full free tech here. I do wish that this that box would tell you what it was you got. Alright, what did we not have before? It got us Astrofinance, I think? Right, because I think we took multi-thread and galactic commodities. So that's a pretty low value tech. I think that's... Yeah, I think that's what we got there. That's fine. That's an okay technology that we would definitely have researched at some point. Still don't see anything in the dark. I'm starting to lose faith in these probes here. Let's keep an eye on this. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay. I don't think we're going to have to contribute anymore. So this is the vaulter what do you call it? The Vaulter colony ship. If it gets here, it can colonize a planet instantly. And if it does that, then we're just like all the way pushed into the corner in a way that's very annoying. Basically, the question is, am I going to attack the Argosy when it arrives? To try to keep growing space for our empire. And Zeturbia itself is like a pretty valuable system, right? It has good colonizable planets. It has the luxury resource that we need, that we've already committed to using in our boosters. We could come down to Othero for that. The one colonizable planet is the one that has the blue cap mold. I don't know, man. Because it's going to get stopped here. How long are we from vining this up? It's like quite a while still, right? Yeah, 7 turns. This is not exactly the way I wanted to kick things off. Alright, let's... The scientist and ecologist laws are both pretty good for us. I really, really hope that these other parties are not going to sneak in. I'm trying to figure out which one of them deserves our support here. Who do we need more? So right now we just have access to green fertility, but we'll get access to cool copies if the ecologists survive another election. Obviously, that's pretty good. If we do scientists, we'll get the Star Boogie Bill instead, which is good for scouting, but I think maybe not as powerful overall. And then scientist develops into a huge food bonus and then a huge damage bonus on weapons, while ecologist grows into a great big science bonus for having a diverse empire, and then a great big industry bonus for having a diverse empire. We are not in a great position to have a diverse empire right now, but these bonuses are super powerful if you manage them well. I think we're going to throw in behind the ecologist party, and we're just going to hope that things turn out well. Okay, it looks like the coalition held, so we got them both. It's all good. What a bunch of assholes, though, coming over to settle Zeturbia instead of just, like, moving down to these. I think we have to destroy it. Well, we have to attack it. It might just retreat. Yeah, you're not allowed to do the thing. Get out of here. I know this is not exactly the most unfallen maneuver here, but... So it retreats down the star lane with limited health. We're going to be there to intercept and destroy it. And that's going to buy us some time with them not being able to settle any further.
Do you really wish to push us to the breaking point?
I know. Listen, I'm gonna make it up to you. We're gonna smooth this over with dust in a few turns.
Push us to the breaking point.
The thing is, I'm definitely gonna refuse to stop attacking your fleets, and I know this is creating militarist political pressure, but hopefully it won't be a big deal because we just had an election. It will wear off by the next election. It's a shame that there's no way to point out that, in fact, she's the one who was being the dick and the aggressor in this situation. There's nothing I can do about it. We have an empty law slot, right? Do we want to step one of these laws in? We do have Make Love Not War, so we have a really strong incentive to get peace with somebody. I guess we're going to use our Academy roll to try to push that. Cool copies is maybe worth running. What would be the cost of this? 50 influence per turn, so we would start losing influence on that. If we canceled one of our other laws, we could make it up. I mean, the green fertility bill's not doing a huge amount for us at the moment. It's only buffing the output of this one planet. Yeah, if I effectively have to choose between the two of them, Cool Copies is giving us the +2 food per citizen everywhere. But I guess we can run them both for a while. For some reason, we were at +45, then we lost 50, so now we're at +10. I don't know, man. Doesn't really seem like that math holds to me. Alright, we're going to give these probes one final turn before we zoom off elsewhere. Pretty disappointed with how this has turned out. And is this the turn before the Academy thing is figured out? Yep, and we are a smaller percentage of the overall pie, but we're still maintaining a pretty considerable lead here. I don't think we have to put any more dust into this. So let's just make sure we manage the Atheros situation quickly here. I don't want them getting away. If we destroy their colony ship, they only get one. The Vultures have a whole weird special thing going on. But they will... It'll come back. It's not like we've removed their ability to colonize stuff for the rest of the game. It will regenerate naturally. They don't even have to rebuild it. It just gets rebuilt. But it'll mean they don't have it for several turns. I think it takes like 5 or 10 turns for it to reappear. So we've bought ourselves some time as far as settling goes. Well, I'm glad I had not moved my fleet away from the vines yet. Okay. We have become the Master of Dust, and we are currently considered allied with the Academy. We have not won 10 battles first. That went to the Blue Empire, who I'm going to guess is maybe Cravers. Just a suspicion that I have. Alright, so, hey you.
We survived the hungry shadows.
How do I do
We
this?
will
How do I
survive this.
use my role? Do I need to do it from the Empire diplomacy screen or the Academy diplomacy screen? Okay, here we go. The Academy has 2.8k dust for grants. Access diplomacy to issue a new grant. You have a new diplomatic term to grant other empires some of the Academy's dust to skip the diplomacy scale in your favor. Also, the sum of all pains, the insignia ship of the Empire. Why do I have... Is this just the thing that you always have some information on their ships? Oh, we have a ship that we can control as well. That's actually really interesting. So we can take control of the ship. We don't have control of it now. But we could pay a little bit to rent a ship because we have a role. Maybe it's a Master of Dust specific thing. But that's definitely interesting. I did not realize that was available. Okay, so from this screen, we should have the ability... Here we go. Academy Grant. Alright, here's the thing. I'd love to be friends with you, actually. And I know that you don't like me very much right now, but what if 2.8k dust... Right? That's a lot of money. It's not good enough. Okay. What about the Riftborn?
Some things in this cosmos we have come to understand. You're not one of them. What do
Oh, I forgot about that. We have a special diplomatic term that allows us to force peace on people because we have the pacifists in our government. I'm just going to force peace on these guys. Maybe they will want to retaliate for the thing that we just did. If they try to, it will at least be very expensive for them now, because declaring war directly from peace is pretty costly.
Push us to the breaking point.
Forcing a peace is like choking someone with dessert. It is not a friendly act, and we still do not trust you. She's sharp. Yeah, they don't like it when you do that. I just didn't figure we were going to be able to get peace with her any other way, and I'm increasing the diplomatic pressure on her. Let's see if we can grant some dust here and get peace with these guys as well. Start benefiting from our free approval thing. Alright, suggest me some terms. What do you like? What if you gave me all of your resources, they say? What if I gave you some of my resources? How about that? Let's try to find some values here that don't totally break me. Alright, they want more than that. The thing is, I was planning to sell some of these to, you know, finance the purchasing of our trading company. I don't really want to trade them all off. I'm a little surprised to see peace being so far down here. Like, they have no reason to dislike us yet. Out of curiosity, if we offer them all 2,800 dust, is it going to make any difference at all? No. See, most terms have like a ceiling value where they stop affecting the deal. So 2,800 Academy Grant is not really different from 1,000 Academy Grant for this deal. We could try to make peace with the Hisho. I mean, they don't like us very much.
To die stabbing
On account of they demanded money and I refused to give it to them.
like this
Yeah, we have not put ourselves in a good position as far as having friends. Where are we at approval-wise? I'm wondering if we can get Dill up to happy. Because I would like to have that. We would need 17 points of approval. So, peace with 2 more players plus the infinite supermarket does get us there. Actually, peace with 1 more player and the infinite supermarket gets us there. But that'll stop being true as soon as we get another point of population, right? So we probably do want to try to get peace with both. We could just force it on them. We do have the influence for it. And we could just play influence tug of war with them, basically. You know, it costs influence to return back to Cold War from peace. So if we can out-generate them, we can just keep, like, basically forcing our friendly diplomacy down their throat. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna force peace with you.
Do you enjoy
And then,
stabbing us?
how expensive was the deal that they wanted in terms of influence? They don't even want the Academy grant. They just want all of my other stuff. They probably... Oh yeah, they don't feel like they need dust right now. They have 6k in the bank. Well, again, I would love it if we could drag these numbers down a little bit. Okay, they feel really strongly about the titanium. But they'll let us keep some Hyperium at least. Can I keep some antimatter? So you can see, like you might have noticed, when we changed the amount of Hyperium, it didn't recalculate the deal. That tells us that the 30 is probably still above the threshold for the amount of resource that actually matters in this deal.
What now?
Yeah, how about this? How about this version of it? This is less expensive for us than forcing peace, and it doesn't give us the diplomatic malice of having forced an alignment on them. Okay, so we've made a lot of friends for various definitions of made. Now we're content in 2 turns. So in 1 turn, we'll get another point of population. We'll lose like another 3 to 8 approval, depending on where we put that point of population. And then the infinite supermarket will push us back up above 70% no matter where we put them. So I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, did we have a point of population flying home? Yeah, the nearest have not arrived yet. Still a few turns out. Okay. So, we don't have quite as much money as I was hoping to have, or quite as many resources as I was hoping to have for sale. Yeah, we can only make about 4k, it looks like. Well, a little bit more. But certainly not enough to buy much of the trade company HQ time off. I think it's important to get the vine ships done faster than that. We could buy one of them right now, I guess. Or we could get pretty close to buying one of them. Just try to accelerate that as much as possible. And hey, what a sad time, we have found nothing. Alright, let's head back to Duyel. Did it not? Nope, it unselected the ship when I clicked. There we go. Head back to Duyel, probe over here, reveal this, and maybe see what's down that way. I'm having a really hard time finding any actual systems out in the center of the galaxy. Maybe it's just like weirdly empty this game. I'm really hoping that we're going to meet some other players while we still have these Academy grants available. Because right now, we're not getting any value at all out of them, but I would love to. I mean, it's also possible that we'll still get some value out of them with the people we have met, because we may... they may drop back to Cold War.
Feel free to...
Okay. They definitely both sent us that message last turn, by the way. I'm not sure why they're continuing to bother me. Alright, now we're mining adamantium. That'll produce some monetary value. Oh, sure, I suppose I should research a thing. I think what we really want here is Behemoth blueprints next. We want to be able to create these, and then we want to be able to turn them into... We want to make economic behemoths, and we want to get those... Yeah, like these modules out, which is just flat resource bonuses, which will help us develop these like cold systems that we're not good at living on, because the behemoth can just come and I don't know, shoot food from space. The behemoths will have the ability to be built with the economic modules by default. We don't have to research anything, but we can research better versions of the modules. What are we pulling out of the ground here? 2 per turn, it looks like? No, 4 per turn. Yeah, that's right. It's only been 1 turn. That should be a pretty good amount of money.
Push us to the breaking.
Feel free to anger us.
Okay, they're just going to say the same thing to us all the time for the rest of the game, apparently. Let's move... Sorry, not you. Let's move you over to here. And unfortunately, we've done all we can as far as building approval generators, so I guess we just make other stuff. This is still good, then this. The system's not gonna... It's not ever gonna be hugely productive, but it is outputting a lot of science already. Yeah, like we're at 108 with basically no science structures completed, because 18 science per citizen. A pretty big deal. Okay, what do we want next? Let's have a look at the designs for the behemoths. So, an economic behemoth has, by default, a bunch of these. Just flat... Actually, it only has 1 by default. It also has a mining probe on it. So you can launch a mining probe down on an unowned planet, or a planet you don't own, and still pull the resources up out of it. I don't really think that's how we're going to use these things. We probably want to replace that with one of those. We want to give it better engines, and then, you know, it should have defensive modules and weapons on it. It should be able to shoot people. Just kind of mix up the offense and defense to prevent people from teching too effectively against it, because we certainly don't want to put any effort into, like, trying to tech these things against people. It's a lot of micromanagement. We could also just have it lower our technology costs. I'm not too worried about that. We produce a fair amount of science already, and I really think like system development is our big problem, as you can see with how long it's taking to build Dill. So, not that we are necessarily going to rush one of these out right this second, but if I did want to do that... Oh, it's only 10k. That's not so bad. I thought it was going to be way worse than that. Well, we do need the vine ships. It's not really optional. Is staying at its population limit is very close. It will be population limited next turn. So really we should send 2 more points of population. But, of course, they're going to make that system even unhappier. Well, nothing for it, I suppose. Let's, it's better to have people there. So let's send a couple more people down to Dill. This stuff is, oh wow, 288 per. We're going to be able to make a pretty significant amount of money on that. 2.5k. We'll let our thing mine for a couple more turns here, and then we'll do some buyouts. Alright, so do I want to grab mission flexibility? An additional support slot and an upgraded version of that thing. That's actually not a bad idea. We're going to want extreme atmospherics eventually. I don't know that it's critical right this second, because obviously we don't have any antimatter to mine, but we do already have a gas planet in one of our systems, so being able to take advantage of that would probably be cool. We could come over here and get some extra approval and influence technology, and we are already hitting the point where we don't have enough influence to run the government that we would like to run. And if we're going to keep screwing with people and forcing them into diplomatic stances that they would rather not take, we do need to be producing a lot of influence in order to make that stick. National Museum is just like a really easy way to get a lot of influence. And the booster program is also a pretty significant thing, although it's not very good for us because we just don't have a lot of systems. Yeah, I'm not sure what the right move is here. Could continue to work on our science output as well, like wave function control has that optics research lab associated with it, which is pretty great. What is the uncolonizable planet in this system? It is an ice world, so that technology also does allow us to colonize ice. There's value there. and then like autonomous materials to be able to see the wormholes and maybe actually get out onto another constellation and find some things, or evaporation inhibitors, which will let us see and explore more curiosities. We don't have any desert worlds we need to colonize, but we could. It may be the case that we will at some point. It's pretty tough one, actually. I guess let's go for the science. We don't need mission flexibility now. I guess another thing that we could go for is impactless sites, which lets us build another dust building and also gives us access to the hero part of the marketplace, where, of course, we can buy more governors. Governors are very powerful. Let's go for more science first. So I think we're going to start with wave function control. And then we'll grab autonomous materials, because I kind of want to be able to see the wormholes. Yeah, let's do that. That'll get us into the next tier of the science quadrant as well. We pretty much just need to keep expanding as fast as possible. Unfortunately, we're going to reach the point sometime soon where Tsing being happy, like as we continue to expand out and grow population in new systems, we're going to reach the point eventually where Tsing being happy is not enough to keep the entire empire in the top happiness bracket. Let's get some of you guys over here, get us back to happy, at least temporarily. Obviously, we're going to fall out of it eventually. There's not a lot we can do about that. This would be a pretty significant industry gain, but also it would take us so long to build it. That's probably a thing that we want to wait for and just like buy out eventually. Let's say we can get pretty close here. We don't actually want to sell all of the Hyperium because we need some for the engines of that thing. But like, that's pretty good, right? Do we just buy out... Do we want to buy out the economic behemoth, or do we want to buy out the 2 vine ships? Honestly, in the situation we're in right now, it's probably better to buy out the vine ships and just get our vine network really flying. I think that's probably correct. That's probably the case. You know what we might be able to do? I wasn't really thinking about this, but we might be able to trade the Academy grant to other players in exchange for their dust. Like, what if I offered to grant you 1,000 of the Academy's dust in exchange for, let's say, 900 of your own dust? Actually, I don't like this deal. How about 700 of your own dust? All right, so we're going to get a pretty bad return on that. If it ends up being the case that we get close to the end of Academy Power time and we still have a ton of grant money left, we'll cash in that way. We have 17 turns left, though. Let's not be in a big hurry. Who knows? Maybe we'll find a good use for all this. All right, you still have a couple of turns until you get out there. And Zaturbia is vined up next turn. Then we can start upgrading the other systems. I think we have a pretty strong start here, and this thing is going to help a lot. It's a lot of money and science that we just gained. We can, I think, afford to take an approval hit, and I don't think we can afford to take an industry hit, especially not on Dill, so let's do this. How bad is that for our approval? Actually, we're ecstatic on Dill. Are we? Wait, what? What changed? From Democracy, from Guardians... Oh, right. When you build the Endless Research Park, it creates a happiness bonus for some period of time. I don't remember exactly how long. It's temporary, but we are getting it right now, and that's all that really matters. So, I think we want to vine out really quickly. I still want to grab the Solar Nebula, but I think we gotta, because of the fact that the Vaulters are where they are, I think we gotta get a move on here. Make sure they don't corner us completely. Luna Barxis can grab even more approval, which it's turning out is actually even more influence, which is turning out is a big deal. So 4 turns on that, then 4 turns on the Behemoth, and obviously, like, it would be great to get predictive logistics done. Maybe we should just jam that in first, because that's going to accelerate those other things fairly significantly. It's like a 25% boost to the industry output of the system. Now, I think we want to get these things done now, though. Particularly, we want to get that trade company going, since we've already delayed it long enough. Now, we're probably just going to build the subsidiary on Zeturbia. It's going to be a short, bad route, but we're going to generate XP on our trade company and then use that XP to found another trade company, and the first one will still be generating some money. And then if we end up in a trade agreement with another player, we have this leveled up trading headquarters that is super far away from all of their stuff, and so is running very long and impressive routes. You guys should probably just stick together for the moment. Okay, the Harmony have been stolen from us, which means that they are probably going to be assimilated by the Vaulters very soon. Alright, which planet on Zeturbia do we want to put our thing down on? I mean, the Boreal world has 7 food, 1 industry, while the Monsoon world has 7 food, 4 industry. It doesn't really seem like that difficult of a choice. Plus, it has these guys. Look at them. They're adorable. They're probably just like the alien world equivalent of a goose, which is to say, truly horrible to have to exist with. Alright, drone networks. I mean, ideally we would like to buy some of this stuff out, but, you know, there's only so much dust to go around. Alright, so that's got to be a pretty early priority. In fact, get that first, just so that we're mining. Pulling in the mushrooms and the Hyperium, or the Titanium rather, at a slightly higher rate. You don't even have to have a point of population on a planet to mine its resources, it just has to be colonized. Okay, I don't think we want to change any of the stuff we're doing here. This is alright. Is our ship? It is here. Okay. Can we please get proper vision of this system? Oh, maybe that's a Hisho world over there. The Hisho color and the color that's being used for the minor factions, pretty similar. Oh, and it looks like there's actually another Vaulter system over here already. Man, the Vaulters have been extremely prolific and expansive. Like, to a degree that makes me a little bit nervous. And then, do we want to explore stuff for them? I could reveal the Guardian. So, as long as we're friendly, the Guardian will feed them influence, which obviously is not great for us, because we want them to have worse influence output than we have, so we can keep forcing them back to peace over and over again. So I think I'm just going to hold my probe. We certainly don't want to just reveal resources for them. I don't think that helps us at all. It is a little bit of a shame that there's no, like, diplomatic acknowledgement of doing that. It would be cool if revealing resources on another player's systems caused them to like you better in the same way that it does for when you do it to minor planets or minor empire systems. Oh yeah, I forgot we were doing this. Wow, extreme atmospherics is a good technology to get for free. That was pretty lucky. We begin to understand the shape of the galaxy. The mysteries of the stars are like winter branches, dark traceries against a gray sky. We absorb the knowledge of the anomalies and study their strange nature. We will consider and grow, and perhaps even change. When the Unfallen awoke and began to study our world, we learned many things quickly. The greatest lesson we learned, however, was fire. As siblings of the trees, we have an intimate understanding of fire. It was initially treated as a dangerous, if desirable, force, necessary to burst the seeds open, but jealous and hungry if ignored or taken for granted. As our wisdom grew, we saw that it was merely excited electrons, and some now belittle fire, calling it a tool that we should exploit. They say that fire and its descendants, fossil fuels, fission, fusion, are, like fire, dangerous but useful. But some look to the sun and the wind for power, seeking to use natural forms of energy rather than those that rely upon destruction. This is an old debate, and one that will not finish in my lifetime. But the basic philosophies of the Unfallen are simple. Everything begins and ends with fire. As we extend into the galaxy, many questions will arise, and some will find answers. But this fundamental question remains. Are we light, or are we fire? Well, it does say in the opening cinematic that we're trying to make it so not everything ends with fire. So we could do this and develop some new bullet weapons using fleets of the Unfallen to destroy pirates, but it's really easy for us to get to 549 banked influence. And this renewal system, I don't know that we'll necessarily get a lot of value out of this, but this is a real easy way to accomplish another quest step while keeping one of our important political parties in charge. For those who are uneasy with fire, there are other ways to extend the power of the Unfallen, and to maintain our security against the violence of the others. Also, get new population types. Did that nearest ship land yet? Because if it hasn't landed yet... Okay, yeah, it did. I was going to say, if it hasn't landed yet, when it lands, it would complete that for us, which would be kind of neat. So the nearest will give us plus 10% food on their systems eventually. I mean, that's cool. We'd like to develop those guys if we can. We certainly don't need any more pacifist political ideology. Alright, you just hang out for a while. Let's make sure that the population point is staying in the right place on Zaterbia. Oh yeah, that's right, there's a guardian here. So actually, colonizing this world was a really good idea, because we effectively have another population working immediately. Alright. Ooh, this gutted pirate lair is awfully nice. We'll put some of their stuff to good use. Well, we're doing it. We're developing. So in 2 turns, once the Trade Company HQ is completed, we'll be allowed to build a Trade Company subsidiary on any system that does not already have an HQ or subsidiary. And in theory, like, you want to build it as far away as possible with a route that runs through as many systems that generate resources as possible. And I believe that the population of both the HQ system and the subsidiary system come into play in the formula that determines how much the trade route is worth. So I think we would want to build it in Zaterbia even if we had Othero already, just because Zaterbia is going to develop a little bit better. We can't even colonize all the planets around Othero. Yeah, I think that makes sense. We need to keep an eye on our resource levels. We can use the adamantium to generate a fair amount of money when we need to. I wonder if the nearest ship landed on the same turn that we got this and so completed it. That'll cause that to become completed at the beginning of the next turn. There's a pirate vessel here, which I am a little concerned about, so I'm gonna run away, I guess. Of course, it attacks me. The pirates, as far as I can tell, the pirates will always attack the player instead of an AI empire if they are at a node that has both player ships and AI ships. Let's merge you guys up. Alright, so 4 turns. We'll now be able to vine systems up in 4 or 5 turns, which is a pretty significant increase in effectiveness. I think what we're saving dust for right now is buying out that subsidiary. We really do want to get it running as quickly as possible. And I'm hoping that this is going to reveal an actual system here next turn. Yeah, I think that is a Hisho system. It's the same... It's a very slightly different color than the minor faction color. We've discovered Tylus, which has the planet Vale in it. That's pretty good for them, getting a unique world that quickly. And that is a new constellation. Here, let's fly directly there from Primus. And then we'll check out all this stuff, and that'll help us move that quest along. Our tales and discoveries are things of wonder. How grand, how stunning this galaxy is. How fortunate we are to live and breathe within its bounteous limits. And yet, how very dangerous it is. Mafaza, an aging second who would doubtless be dormant by now had the others not arrived, has come forward as the champion of tradition. Once a firekeeper, she is now a steady voice for calm and introspection. Her greatest foil is Atalata, who has raised his limbs under distant suns and met many other peoples. One argues for continuity, and the other for adaptation. One preaches adhering to custom, and the other insists on radical evolution of government and society. The heart speaks to us, as she always has. Our conscience and our guide, she is a voice within all Unfallen that is both God and counselor. As we share what we have learned of our cosmos, the words of the heart are clear. Our role is to understand the other and speak with the other. The passion of the heart is clear in this, for we have felt tremors in her that have never before been sensed, even in the memories of the oldest of the thirds. We must study other species as we have studied ourselves, for the heart will not accept anger and conflict when dialogue and harmony are possible. The heart accepts the need for fire, but only for the fire that renews. The fire that destroys has no place among the Unfallen. Yet some speak of our new knowledge as something like the fire that destroys, for if we must adapt and grow and change, the oldest among us will be lost and left behind. What is the value of a third, who has lived centuries in an unchanging world, and whose stories of life wisdom become less and less valuable? These questions drive to the foundations of our civilization, and even the reassuring pulse of the heart does not soothe us. Hey, listen, the thirds can adapt just like everybody else. This is a little dismissive of their mental faculties. So we can increase the number of Unfallen population to unlock the Center of Light and Life, which seems pretty good to me. Or we can grow enough systems to level 2 so that there are 3 spaceports in the Empire. This is like completely trivial to do, now that we're actually getting Blue Cat mold, to produce the Harmony of the Heart. To be perfectly honest with you, I think we're going to have a really easy time continuing to control our approval for the most part, so I think we're more interested in integration. Continuing to increase the number of non-Unfallen populations, not that hard, we have a lot of food to go around. And I like the Center of Light and Life a lot better as a reward. Bring other species within our boundaries, that we may study them and learn to live in harmony. And yep, there's the assimilation. We knew that was coming. Okay, trade company completed. We want to put that subsidiary up on Zeturbia. So how expensive is the buyout on that? 6k. That's not too bad, actually. We can probably make that happen. Yes. Yes, we can. Let's sell a little bit of that, too. Alright, so let's get that trading company up and running immediately. And you know what? I'll buy that out as well. Okay. Things are accelerating in a way that I find very pleasing. I'm still pretty annoyed about the minor faction situation here. We were in a really good position to get a bunch of friendly minor factions really quickly, and things just have not worked out. I'm glad we got our academy role, even if we don't end up making a ton of use of it. It's just good to know how the new systems work, you know? So we're still 2 turns off of Othero. I don't actually know what our colonization threshold is right now. I should probably take a look at that. Oh hey, we discovered that there's a wormhole from Duyel to Tylus. This is maybe not the ideal turn for me to discover that. Would have been nice to know a little bit earlier. So Luna Barxis levels up. This is the last level we have to take on this tier. Let's grab Common Touch. And then it looks like we have a new hero available. That's a shame. They're all pacifists. A hero of the ecologist or scientist party would have been a political leader in the Senate immediately, which is what I was really hoping to see. So we have access to a Vaulter Seeker. Seeker is definitely more of a spaceship-oriented thing, but it does have these early science boosts. And then as a vaulter, he would give us free resources, a pretty significant science boost, and really just like a lot of ship tech. He'd make a good political leader. It's a shame he can't be that thing. And then Overseer, of course, is the one that has the big food boost and eventually bean counter, which is great. So this guy is a technologist minor civilization, which is mostly ship-focused, but produces a fair amount of science in cold systems. And we do have a cold system that he could go and work in to help improve their lot. They certainly need food. Or we could take, this is a different technologist overseer. These are the same dude. There is one thing that separates them, and that is potentially this. So he gives plus 10 science per planet, while his initial thing is, nope, they are the same guy, actually. They are identical dudes. Well, we're supposed to, I don't know, man. I don't think this matters at all. This is exactly the same guy. Let's take him. So, Burra Tech Seeker. Hold on, we could assign him to Zeturbia. Zeturbia does have cold worlds. In fact, 3 of its worlds are cold. And I mean, Dill is... all of Dill's worlds are cold, though. Oh man, Dill actually needs to colonize a new world. We need more growth space. All of the options are terrible. Grab this one, because on a gas world, the resource output per citizen is usually very, very high. And then you're going to have to grab another one after that, and this actually probably has to wait, so we don't spend too much time at the population cap in this system. And at some point we need to specialize these worlds as well, but we probably need to... I need to get the new settles out first. Okay. So do we want to put our new hero here? I think I want to put him down in Zeturbia. There's a lot of stuff to build in Zeturbia. He'll level up more quickly there. And we do have a fertile world. So we'll get a little bit more benefit from his farming logistics skill. So we'll take both points of this and then both points of that, and that's how we'll develop him. And then maybe we'll move him back to Dill later, once he actually has the cold world science skill. Alright, do we see any other interesting wormholes? There's a wormhole from Bonnie to somewhere pretty deep. There's a wormhole from Zoo out that way. There are no wormholes from any of my stuff. We probably do need a scout ship. Another scout ship. Alright, what are we going to research now? We have a Behemoth approaching completion, so in getting access to the new Behemoth modules does start to become more valuable. That would allow us to get up into the next tier. I think I like that. I mean, getting more heroes is also good, and we're going to start gaining systems pretty rapidly here. Why don't we take this first? Getting access to the hero marketplace will give us a good idea of how much money we need to be saving for the purpose of hiring heroes, and we've also unlocked even more curiosities, which is another good reason to build some more scout ships. I mean, we could get 1 or 2 out pretty quickly from Tsing once we finish building the Behemoth, I think. Oh, my hack. That's right, I totally forgot that we had run... Oh no, it's not that our old hack had completed, although it has almost completed, but rather that we got a new hacking operation slot. Well, what do we want to do with it? I sort of just want to install a bunch of sleepers in the Vaulter Empire. So I guess get to work on that. Run an accelerator. And we should probably... Well, I don't know that we need to encrypt Zeturbia. I guess let's do it. May as well be safe. So that slows down enemy hacking speed, giving us more time for our traces to run. It sadly does not give us a better chance of actually executing a hack. Making it impossible for them to establish a back door on Zeturbia might actually be really valuable for us. Because that would obviously make it a lot easier for them to push forward into Tsing. And we don't really have the bandwidth to run that and an encrypt, I don't think, at least not with the accelerators. This is finished next turn, so we're just gonna go and secure IMAX, make sure there's no surprises waiting for us there. And hey, look at that, we did it. We got our ram scoop. And then colonize or create an outpost on more unique planets. You know, I'll see what I could do. I sure would love to get a free hero. That sounds pretty okay. Sadly, I don't know how we're gonna pull that off. We basically would just have to find another unique planet pretty nearby. Which, I don't know, could happen, I suppose. The probe went straight through Tylus and found us another thing. That was nice of it. Yeah, see, this wormhole right here, that's something we need to investigate. It's a shame that our dude was already in free space by the time it became visible. I guess, actually, if this is at 98% finished, we could probably... Wait, I want him to be... Okay, so hold on. Let's transfer 2 more ships. I want to leave 1 ship behind to finish the vining, and have these other ones start moving, right? Because it doesn't take all 3 of them to do this job. Or all 4 of them, rather. I kind of want to buy this out. I think we can accelerate this a little bit. Let's get our cerebral reality up. Sustainable farms is 15 food here, which is fine, not great. Honestly, maybe we want to just colonize the other worlds really fast. Let's do this and this. Let's get those very basic buildings established. I think that makes sense. And then we're definitely just going to embed sleepers in there. I guess we could create a back door and then use Nair to push hacks much more quickly to Artemis. Unfortunately, my concern here is that Nair and Artemis are maybe too close. Those hacks would go really quickly, but the traces would also be really quick. A backdoor on Artemis running hacks to Duyel is, I think, a lot more sensible. We have a hack running to Artemis. Maybe we can do that. For right now, I'm just going to embed a sleeper here. And then I think just run another hack to Nair. So if I were to run a defensive encryption thing on Zeturbia, it would leave us with 31 bandwidth remaining. So actually, we do have enough bandwidth to have both of these accelerators running at the same time and also all of our defensive programs still. Yeah, I think that is a sensible way to do that. Alright, colony number 4. Our overcolonization threshold is probably like 8-ish. Yeah, so we're nowhere near that. We can continue to just keep pushing. You should get down there. Let's get the vines started while we wait for their approach. We have not seen the Valter settling vessel again. I don't know if they have it back yet. An undercover documentary concerning a makeshift community who live in one of your planet's biggest refuse facilities has become a loaded political issue. Many are scraping a living in the system's dumps, scavenging for recycled materials, while setting up their homes in the very same places. Amenities have followed, and these places are now lively, if polluted and dangerous, hubs. Environmental groups demand action is taken, that industries need to manage their resources better and not fuel these communities. Others suggest going even further and monetizing these places more effectively. In essence, they advocate greater ties between industry and the refuse sites. I would say that this is not going even further so much as it is the exact opposite of that demand. We can afford to take an approval hit right now, and I would actually love a bunch of free industry. That sounds wonderful. Let's enhance ties. You let people live where they want to live. And we will help them do it. Alright, where are we putting down on Othero? We have a huge gas giant here. So -5 approval per population unit, but then the fact that the world makes beautiful music helps offset that a little. And that gives us 10 industry. I mean, we should probably do Othero 4. It's only a tiny bit less industry, but there's actually some food here to use as a basis for our development. Also, there's these adorable guys who I definitely would want to live on the same planet with. Alright, let's get some very basic stuff going here. Food and whatnot. How is that Behemoth coming? We're gonna definitely get some value out of it pretty soon. Alright, let's play one more turn so that we can see what the hero costs are at the impactless sites, because I'm very curious how much money we're gonna need for that. This might be where it starts making sense to use our academy grants at a loss to just get flat dust from the other players, because I would love to hire some more heroes if we can. Let's merge you guys up. So 3 more turns on that. Had another event occur, Riled Researchers. You know, honestly, we don't need research at this moment as much as we need the ability to build. I know we're like driving a ton of industrialist political ideology, and we're only 6 turns from an election. But we really, really do need to build stuff, right? Like, that is the place that we are in. Okay. So we've unlocked another tier of this thing. The legendary deed that we have revealed is to build this trade clearing bureau, which is a thing that we actually do want to do, although it's obviously not a critical thing to get it done right this second. Let's have a look at the hero market. So what does this look like? Between 3,000 and 6,000 dust for each hero. But I think it's definitely to our benefit to get a governor in each system as quickly as possible. So we'll probably want to try to make this happen. Oh, this is selling for even more than it was selling for before. These are still very valuable. We're starting to pull in Blue Cat Mold, and the Blue Cat Mold is also quite valuable. Like, obviously we want to do system development with it, but we could sell a bunch of it first. We can make quite a bit of money here. Like, this is almost going to be a hero by itself. And then, yeah, we can make a couple of heroes happen this turn so that each of our 4 systems has a governor. And then we can just keep pushing economy stuff. We definitely need to move this guy down to these developing systems. At least as far as Othero. Once he gets to Othero, we make a decision whether he stays there or goes all the way down to IMEX. I mean, maybe he could stay on Zaterbia, I guess. I don't know. I guess let's have his move action terminate at Zaterbia, and then we'll make decisions in the future. We have important stuff going on. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to want to spend any money buying anything out anymore, because we have a lot of other stuff to do with our dust. So the 20 industry that the Behemoth is able to just wheel around to places is definitely going to be valuable, and we can upgrade his modules and stuff. Actually, let's grab mission flexibility really quickly, and then we'll get onto whatever other train we're getting onto, because I do want to put the extra support slots in there so that we can jam more of those modules in. Plus, researching more Behemoth research means more Behemoths, and obviously it would be extremely cool to have multiple of this thing running around. I think we've got a really strong basis for stuff going here. So let's have a quick look before we stop at our trade route. You can see right now it's already producing 122 dust per turn, which I'm actually pretty surprised by. That's a much higher value than I was expecting. We go to the Trade and Resources tab here. We can increase its rate of experience gain and its dust and science or luxury and science income very, very slightly by buying additional freighters. And as it produces experience, it fills up the XP bar of the other trading company. And then once we build this, experience gained by this thing will fill up that one. So we can get ourselves up to 3 trading companies pretty quickly. Which we obviously will want to do. They're just free money. And once you've established them, you don't have to do anything at all, although it is definitely worth it sometimes to just plow dust into them to get them leveled up more quickly. We'll consider this after we have the hero situation dealt with. I think it's way more important to get heroes out and get them started, because heroes generate a ton of resources for their systems. Yeah, overall, despite the fact that we were pretty hemmed in at the beginning, it seemed maybe not like a super promising start in terms of expansion, I think we've really gotten going here. Like, Zhu's going to be a great system for us. Zosmanos will eventually be a great system once we learn how to live with the fire and everything. And remember, because our systems have this whole vine thing going on, we are not vulnerable to other players' influence bubbles in the same way that other factions are. Basically what I'm saying is, I have hope. I have great hope for the future. This song right now is expressing my feelings for our future in this game. So that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time when we continue to take over absolutely everything we can see. And we'll see you then.